Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Yes, sir. Reading you loud and clear. Clear. The clock has started.
The clock has started.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
You are now tuned in to this week's episode of our podcast. Today we are going to interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in our field. By sharing our collective expertise, we will show you how to harness, control, and use your own skill set to achieve ultimate success and live the life you want. And now, please welcome your host.
Welcome to this week's Smallest Guys podcast. This podcast is designed for the small government contractors, service providers, and manufacturers as part of the government contractor ecosystem, connecting people, organizations, and resources. I'm your host, JustNate, and this week we got Dennis. Welcome, Dennis.
I can't look at you when you're reading that again.
I don't, literally like 200 times, and I still screw it up. I don't know. Maybe I should just stop reading it.
I started busting up laughing.
Or maybe I should record it.
And then we do have a new thing, fad occurring. The dentist, I like it. Do the dentist. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do the
Thank you,
dentist.
Producer Jen, for that. Have you seen the dentist? Have you seen
Everybody?
I saw the T-shirts being made outside as I was coming in. So.
Oh, T-shirts. Why didn't I bring my T-shirt? Tomorrow I'm wearing a T-shirt.
The dentist T-shirt with me going.
No.
Ooh. To knock over the mic. All right, Nate, let's start the show.
Okay, so with us today, we've got a guest. This is Gabe Cabrera from Summit Strategies. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you said it perfectly.
Sweet. Is there a roll in the R or anything? Or
There can be, but I don't know that. I don't know.
is it Italian or
It's Spanish. Yeah.
Spanish?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Mexican. Most people think I'm Italian, but I am Mexican. And yeah,
There you go.
There you go.
Hey, embrace.
So
I'm a northern redneck from Canada. Eh? Well,
they don't roll ours there, I don't think.
No, we don't.
They don't even say the R's.
Right.
And when I say southern Canada, it's North Dakota. So
Okay.
they always make fun of me though. So
Okay. Well,
but I embrace it. Whatever. I don't care.
yeah. Nothing to be afraid of, right?
That's right.
You got to
You-
embrace the roots.
You do you, boo boo.
There you go.
So Nate, Gabe, how do you feel about being one of the greatest and influential minds in
I
today?
heard
right?
that, and I was going to look at my watch and see
Yeah.
if my heart rate was going up or if it was going down, what was happening.
I love that part of the intro. I'm like, I wonder how people feel when they hear that, because if
That probably freaks them out.
for the first time, they're
Just
like
a little
the
bit.
greatest and influential minds.
What did I sign up to?
Yeah.
That's right. Who are these guys?
My boss is gonna kill me.
We have these pens. Just look into it. No, just kidding.
Nice. Okay, Gabe, you work for Summit Strategies. What is Summit Strategies?
Yeah, so Summit Strategy is a business development, marketing, and proposal management partner, basically.
Okay.
So a consulting firm at the end of the day that really manages across the entire business development cycle, essentially trying to help businesses grow and really up their win strategy game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now,
Very cool.
now you guys are a new company, right? Hasn't been around very long.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, probably about a year, but I mean, formally out there, the rollout was just less than 2 months ago. So
Right.
we are brand new on the street, and I'm new myself with them. So I'm about 5 weeks in with Summit right now.
And you guys are a virtual company, correct?
Yeah.
But where is the headquarters?
I would say the headquarters is in California. So our CEO and co-founder, Kristen Maycomer, it's based out of a town called Corona, California.
Nice.
Yes.
They have beer there.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, I know why you moved
Or
here.
a virus.
Right? That was the other thing. I'm like, are you patient one? But no. So.
It feels. Sorry, I keep reaching here. I'm like, where's my keys? I'm missing. Producer Jenna took away from me.
That's right. Took your
Not
toys.
Jenna. Jen.
Jen. Producer Jen. So, so let's talk a little bit about kind of what you guys do. You said a lot of things are real fast.
Yeah.
So you guys have basically, what's your core offerings, I guess, is the...
Yeah, I would split it into those.
Go slow, because we got a bunch of listeners who may not be. So there's small
Dennis,
government contractors,
right, there's the listeners.
new government
There's the
contractors.
listeners.
Or over there.
So go slower.
Yeah.
about kind of what the different functions are.
Yeah, certainly. So I mentioned the kind of the three cogs of the wheel earlier, and the start of the business cycle that they help with is the marketing side of things.
Okay.
So both are co-founders. So I mentioned Kristen, and then Haley Watkins is the other. They've been at it together for about 10 years and have both a background on the marketing side, but also the business development and the proposal side. So when I say marketing, I'm talking about any company. How do you go to market? What is your brand? What is the image? What are the strategies that you're trying to embody? And so what do we do there? That's going to be anything from your online presence, right? Your Facebook presence, especially in this social media age, right? What is your digital imprint out there? And so how can we make that better? How can we improve upon that? How can we maybe take you from a brand new company that doesn't even know your own image to what do I want to be when I grow up, right?
So you guys don't do the hard marketing product necessarily. I mean, you can help with like, logos or whatever, but that's not really, you guys help them with what are you guys doing with regards to marketing, and then give them options, ideas of how to.
You got it. It's all on the consultative side. I mean, are there products? Are there artifacts? Certainly we can help with an updated brand image or an image from scratch and the artifacts that go along with that. And then once again, that digital imprint, that digital media presence that goes along with that. So that's the first part is, who are we from a marketing side of it, not the actual just marketing day to day, but the strategy around where our footprint
the branding
is.
or the image
that
you want to portray.
Yeah. So that's part one.
Okay. And then you said, then that rolls into business development is the next piece.
Yeah. And particularly with the audience that we're talking to here, everybody has the capture guys, the business development guys, or the traditional sales guys. And we work both sides of that coin. And when I say that, I mean the commercial side and the government side. So Kristen and Haley have done a really great job of strategically hiring consultants and bringing people on that have lived on both sides of that fence, so that you got a great background in, maybe telecommunications companies. That's great, and we can turn that into something else. And then folks like myself, who I've been on the proposal side of it, which I'll get to for about 15 years, and I've done about 8 years purely commercial and about 12 plus years federal government. So
You're not that old.
I look a little young, but trust me, if you get that camera pulled in close enough, you'll see it.
Go ahead,
You'll
zoom
see
in,
it.
Nate. No, just kidding.
There we go. This is it right now. So, So then it moves into that business development part of the cycle. So purely now we're at how are we trying to take that image and turn it into business? What is our core capability? What are those core offerings? And do we have a mature enough process to really win the business we want to win? And if we don't, we can come in there too. And when I say we can come in, that's anything from, can we train your people to be better capture managers? Can we help with your pipeline? If you're a brand new company and you've got swim lanes, but you're not quite sure how to build it, how do we build that? Or huge companies, for instance, that just acquired a smaller company, and now it's how do we fit that into our brand, integrate, right? And then how do we go to market against a certain strategy? So that's where the business development side of it comes in, is the true, tip of the spear, right? Hunting it. Yeah. And then we get to the third prong, which is a proposal. So some people call it bid management. Some people call it proposal management. I think traditionally it's called proposal management in the U.S. But that's now, okay, we've hunted it. We found it. We start to do some capture. Now, how are we going to eat it? How are we going to kill it? And that's where we can offer that proposal management service that integrates, once again, internally with our business development side of the house. But having pure proposal managers, strategic leads that can help you take that identified opportunity that we know is strategic, that's prioritized, and really go out and give it the focus it deserves so that you can actually win that business, not just identify it. So those are kind of the three primary cogs.
Just summarize the three.
Yeah.
What are they?
Marketing, business development, proposal management.
And on the proposal side, do you guys do the tech, the whole shebang? You guys would be offering, like, you'll come in and manage the proposal. You'll do the tech editing, the art, the overall management of the development of the thing, or are you guys just coming in and providing consulting support to, like, well, here's what you should do to, or sit in on it, or all of the above?
It's all of the above. A lot of the times when we come in on the proposal process, there's an audit component to it. And oftentimes that's how we get in the doors, coming to an organization and saying, where's your pain point? Why are maybe you losing bids or when you're winning? Let's analyze that. And so we can come in across all of those. It's always with a consultative nature, but certainly start to finish project management through building a team that you need for that proposal. So it's not, when I say proposal management, that could be technical writers, that could be graphic designers, that could be folks helping, with volumes specifically, like past performance or key personnel, or across that whole gamut. And then, of course, helping out with the writing, the development, and all the project management that goes in between.
So you guys aren't that large yet.
No.
So you guys have reached back to provide some of these services, other consultants or companies that do that, or how's that work?
Yeah, I would say by and large, anything I've named, we have people who can and do that today. Now, when I came, right, which was 6 weeks ago, we were about 4 people. I think we're about 8 now, and we've got 5 or 6 recs out. So it's still a very small company, still in its infancy. But when I came in, that was really when they were hitting their stride, and things, they were feeling what was coming. And I think we, had 4 recs out, and I looked at it and go, we're going to triple in size, within the first 3 months. So right now it's very busy. We're not overflowing, but at the same time, we're starting to prep for the future.
Well, and you and I had talked previously. So Kristen, the owner, CEO, she has also been in this business for a long time. And I'm going to put a little plug for the Association of Proposal Management Professionals, APMP. She was actually the national president, correct? Or Yeah, she was on the board.
Yeah. She's served on boards in a number of capacities for the last 15 years. She started in the Midwest chapter. She's out in California, obviously, now. But the last 2 years, she just finished up in January with her actual year of being president, and now she's still outgoing, so she's still very actively involved.
So she has that connection, right? And that's kind of what I wanted to get at is, the APMP chapters are across the country, actually across the world. They're international. And so there's some reach back there that she can help you with as well to plug in.
All of us can. So they have different levels of certification. You mentioned she's a fellow, which is actually not even a certification, but a designation given to kind of visionary leaders within the industry. She's certified at the highest level, which is professional, and then Haley, myself, we're practitioner, a level below that. But even the consultants that we're bringing on, it's not a prerequisite, but certainly something that when it's on even the BD side or the proposal side, we're looking for people who really purely understand, that cradle to grave business development all the way through proposal submission.
Okay, so
else.
I want to get back. So you had mentioned, let's see, you had said there was 1, 2, 3, market, BD, proposal management. Is market and BD, is that kind of considered capture together?
I would say BD, the business development aspect is where we're going to see the most capture. And if anything, it's probably more the business development.
What defines capture?
So the capture to me that's when we have an opportunity that's coming in, right? So somebody has identified the opportunity. That's the business development aspect. And what happens between business development and the actual proposal being released and writing the proposal is the capture, meaning we're trying to
build the team,
strategize. Right. It starts with the strategy. What's our path to winning? Right. And what do we offer as a company? And oftentimes companies go, okay, we're a tech company. That's a tech RFP coming out. We should chase that. Well, we both know it's not that simple, right? There's a lot in between. We need to identify, who is the incumbent if there's one. If there is an incumbent, what do they bring to the table? What are they maybe deficient in? And what can we offer to help that? What are the pain points of the client? So it's really finding out everything that is influencing the decision to be made to continue along in that program or build a new program. So it's really, all the capture activities, you'd almost call them, to how do we get to win that? And then that's when they turn it to proposals, right? And the proposal is how do we take that vision and turn it into a story that's compelling.
So what is your guys' business model then? Is the business model to be part of that capture team for a fee, or is it part of that capture team for a spot on the contract? Or
the capture side of it, it's kind of the in-between. So one facet that we have business development people, we have proposal people. We don't have capture people. I think the goal, a lot of companies like this, as they get larger, oftentimes it's, your bids start becoming these monster bids or things where they're pulling you on for retainers, right? Like long periods of time where you're part of their business cycle now. We're starting to see some of that already, but as part of that, the natural evolution, I think, would turn from not just having people with a business development background, but truly having capture managers on site that we say, well, what kind of deal is it? What kind of opportunity is it? We've got a capture person who might be able to help you with that, but we're talking 12 to 18 months ahead of a cycle sometimes. So as a, 12-month-old company that's really about 3 months in. We're just starting to get to that point. A lot of ours are more kind of hopping in, hopping out. And then as we do that, we're starting to really get, longer term commitments and partnerships with our clients. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, is that a goal too, to form kind of, I would call them strategic relationships with companies, not just, you're not just kind of going in and out, like you said, you're going to try to, work with them. So a small company, I know outsourcing, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to, or consulting. If you're a small company, typically you don't have the resources to have a proposal team or a business development team. So they can contact you guys and you will be that for them, right? That's the whole idea anyways, right?
Yeah. I mean, the long-term side of it is we do want those strategic partnerships. I mean,
Right.
it's good for us, obviously. It's good for them. And what ends up happening is, a company will have a huge pipeline, but then they have their strategic things that they really need heavy focus on, and they need to know at that moment, I need to have a resource then. Not, I have 4 resources on my books.
Right.
Is one of them going to be available? Or
Right.
the RFPs may move left or right, right?
Right.
And that's when they come to us to say, well, we're a known commodity. We know their process. Maybe we bring in an even more rigid process because we have
Right.
to force that
Right.
in. But long term, yes. I mean, we want to be partners. And even so, perfect scenario. Just this week, coming in, I come from the corporate world. This is my first time out of the corporate world, but it's always been in proposal management. And a company I worked for 2 companies ago, now we have a client, they needed a partner, they couldn't finish the bid, and I called my old company, and started digging into my network. So that's not it's not a service you're going to see on a paper somewhere,
Right.
but it is a service where we are digging into that network to say, how can we most strategically partner with these companies and truly make them partnerships, not just clients.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
for sure.
that's good.
Yeah. It's been wonderful. Yeah.
It's about break time.
Yes.
So let's go to a quick break. When we get back, Dennis has some very special questions he always asks. he needs a dance break real quick. So
Do the dentist.
There you go. See,
do
t-shirts,
the
hat,
DK.
t-shirts,
Oh,
hat.
I like that. There we go.
There you go.
That's the bumper sticker.
We'll be right back. This podcast is brought to you by CHAFA, the Colorado Housing and Finance Authority. Since 1974, CHAFA has strengthened Colorado by investing in community development and affordable housing. CHAFA's community development team partners with lenders across the state to offer the financing you need to grow your business. Talk to your local lender about CHAFA's Cash Collateral Support Program, which helps small and medium-sized businesses access capital that would otherwise be unavailable due to collateral shortfalls. To learn more, visit chfainfo.com. Welcome back to this week's Smallest Cast podcast. I'm your host, JustNate. This week we've got Do the DK.
Do the DK.
And we've got Gabe Cabrera.
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 It's like I'm drunk. Cabrera.
See, he can't see the R's. I told you,
It'd
North
probably sound the
Dakotans.
same if I was drunk.
There
Probably
you
come out
go.
the exact same way.
And I'm not making fun. I'm horrible at names.
No, hey, you're going to get that R rolled by the end.
Cabrera.
The North Dakotans can't say it anymore.
pot of coffee really fast. Pot of coffee.
Pot of coffee.
Eventually you'll get to that rolled R. And there's no R in there, but
You
you'll
know,
get
he's
there.
gonna, you know he's going to go home tonight on the
I
way
know
home.
he's
and
gonna be
pot of
What do you mean?
coffee, pot of
What do you mean
coffee.
tonight? I'm like pot of coffee. Pot of coffee.
His wife's going to wake up and go, what in the heck is
That's
wrong
how I
with
teach
you?"
my 4 and 6-year-olds. So if it works for them, hey,
Nice.
it
My wife
works.
took like 5 years of Spanish. She can read and write it, cannot speak it because she can't roll her R's.
Well, see.
But now I'm going to tell her.
You're going to be
hey,
ahead of her by the end of the
Start
night.
now. Pot of coffee. Pot of coffee. Pot of coffee. Okay, that's very weird. Okay.
So we want to continue the discussion slightly. So if folks are interested in getting support from Summit Strategy to assist with their proposal development or business development, marketing, what kind of business model do you guys have? Is it subscription? Is it like per project? How do you guys do that?
Yeah, it's both. And, we typically like to start things with an audit. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but it's really, what is their business model? What is their need? What's their pain point? And oftentimes that ends up resulting in an initial project. Sometimes it's 2, meaning we've got one here on the business development side or the marketing side, and then we've got one here on the proposal side. So oftentimes it does start with a single deal. And frankly, kind of the largest portion of our business is that pure proposal management component right now. And so, that's how we get access. Oftentimes it usually starts with somewhere probably between a 4 and 8 week engagement. That's 1 or 2 projects for them. And then from there, we've been fortunate enough already, oftentimes from there we'll see, usually the minimum is about a 6-month engagement where companies will put us on retainer. And so from a structure model of how we can save the money in the long term,
Right.
it's more like a set amount of hours against more of a lump sum fee over the course of a
Okay.
month. And then, the longer the duration, the more discounts we try to offer them for that goodwill, but also, just to be a good business partner long term.
And do you guys offer any other services? And I know I'm getting kind of, you guys, they just started and everything, but like training?
Yeah,
Or are they doing anything like that? What are
Yeah,
you guys
training is a
doing?
component. So Kristen in particular has had some just master facilitation experience
Right.
and training. Gosh, she's probably trained, I think the number is something crazy like 15 or 20,000 people
Right.
over her corporate life.
Including me.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
see,
for
there you go.
AP&P.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so
And if he passed, she's really good.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna put that on the website, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy, even Dennis can pass.
Right. That's right.
And so from that standpoint, we have sometimes where we don't know what a proposal review is or a color review for our
Right,
government
right.
Counterparts out there. We use that as part of our cycle, as part of our service offering, but also we can do leave behinds where we say, well, let's take your model, let's get your capture managers or your operations people or whoever typically would be reviewing a proposal and say, we could do some training on that.
Yeah.
It's not anything and everything, but certainly if it's in our wheelhouse and it falls in the larger business cycle for us of those 3 tiers, I would imagine, we could do it or at least say we can take a crack at it.
And you're here locally, right? So if
I'm
they
in Colorado, yes.
So you can be, if they need somebody local, you're available. And
Mm-hmm.
if you want to go the virtual route, or I'm sure it's going to be a little mix of both, right? In today's world. But so you are local, so people
Mm-hmm.
can have you come down and you can speak to them directly. Is there anybody else here in Colorado?
Right now I'm the
You're
only
kind
one.
of the
yeah,
main
we're-
headquarters one.
Yeah, we're spread out. I mean, honestly, I think of the 9 of us, I think we're in 8 different states right now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So back to your engagement with companies, what is the minimum time you need to engage with a company?
I would say as far as engagement starts to finish,
Well,
Or
as an
to
example, let's say
actually get
we're
started.
swamped and I need help on this proposal that's coming out next week.
within days. Yeah.
So you guys can react within days.
Yeah,
and stuff like
within
that?
days. I mean, once again, it depends on the opportunity. Typically, those are going to be smaller things.
I was going to say, I'll offer you $1 million. When do you want me? Now?
Right,
Yesterday?
right,
I was here yesterday.
Yeah, and once again, if somebody needs something like that, that's not an opportunity that's going to be huge, large, strategic, unless somebody went on vacation or quit at the last moment, right? But I mean, more times than
Well,
not,
sometimes things drop in laps. Like we just had
Yeah.
one, right? That just because we're not on a GSA Oasis pool, that this one came out and that we've been strategizing at for over a year.
Okay.
Did a bad job capturing, apparently, though.
Well, but you don't know what pool it's coming out in.
Well,
so
and the government wouldn't talk to us and tell
the government
us.
doesn't talk to you, so
Yeah,
you're kind of
yeah.
limited to waiting.
Yeah.
And then all of a
Sure.
sudden it drops,
Yeah.
and you find out 2 days later you got 15 days left to produce this proposal. So I'm like,
Right.
crap.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly help with those opportunities. So I say,
surge.
by and large,
Surge.
a lot
There
of
you go.
companies are going to say, "Oh man, tragedy happened. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this," or we can, we can kind of bolt on. So we have had some too where they say, "Oh my gosh, this scenario happened.
Yeah.
we need a volume lead, past performance, resumes." Technical, something like that, where we can even offer that service to say, yeah, we can do that today, or
Okay.
maybe sometimes it's just the reviews in that case to kind of help them get things moving forward, push it across. Sometimes it's just compliance,
Yeah.
things like that we can jump in and jump out. But by and large, most of our engagements are cradle to grave as far as RFP release through completion when we're talking about proposal
I mean, it'd be
management.
nice if you guys were involved at the RFI stage, at least to let you know, hey, here's the RFIs that we're looking at.
You got it.
So you guys get a
Yeah, but
heads
it
up.
just depends
You
on
got
what
it,
companies
and-
do. Like,
Right.
I
And
mean,
that's where we get into retainers and engagements. We have a company right now, we're on a 12-month engagement with them, and we will be supporting RFIs. And we're putting together basically a rapid response proposal center for them.
nice.
Their proposal
Ooh, I
center
like it.
broke down about 6 months ago. They fired everybody, and they brought us in, and they basically said, "You're our proposal center. No, by the way, we have a lot of contract vehicles. We work with GSA Oasis a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I've worked with all the pools over the past probably 5-6 years. Bring it in, and the goal is we leave something behind for them that they can then turn into
Right.
Well, that's
their own
a
resources.
permanent capability.
I like that. I wrote that down too. Rapid
Yeah.
response proposal
Yeah, yep,
center.
yep.
Because really, what that tells. I mean, Dennis and I were just talking about that today.
the RRPT.
as we're working on things, we see ourselves going after the same type of work over and over again. So really, we're getting to the point where a lot of it is, I'd say at least 50% is, well, here, we already did this, right? So we have half it written already before we even started.
Yeah.
Same as pricing even, right? Or like, well, we're finding ways to make our lives easier when we go after things.
Like harvestable content. You know,
Exactly.
and that's something where we definitely do that, where, you know, some people say, well, why would I do a retainer? That could be expensive. And I'm thinking, well, you're correct. It could be if we don't use the time right, or if we don't spend all the hours. But typically what happens, once again, that 12-month and some of our 6-month retainers, we do the proposal. We work as part of our process at harvesting content. And for one of them, we're helping them build a repository that has, you know, past performance library, a key personnel library, a standard boilerplate content like you talked about, management, staffing, things we talk about the same transition almost every time, right?
Yes.
And make it so you can use that
training.
90%. You got it. And
and
helping them get from
We're there
what do
too.
we do to having some building blocks, and that's where the rapid.
I'm going to take a
efficiency
question away from Dennis though, because
Right.
he always gets this
Sorry,
question.
I was waiting.
I'm sorry, I'm going to do it now.
All right, what are you going to ask?
Well, because you've been doing this for a little while now,
A little bit.
What types of tools do you see? What do you like to use? Right? I mean, there's lots of collaboration tools out there.
Well, you talking
everybody
professionally
does
or personally? I was going to go both today.
both.
You know, what tools do you professionally are you guys kind of using that you would
Yeah.
endorse?
Yeah.
And then what professionally, like I ask a lot of times, you know, we all play around with these different apps and tools that we use.
Right.
What do you find that useful?
Yeah, and so, you know, the
Actually,
interesting
that wasn't the
thing-
question I was going to go with next, though, Nate.
Okay.
All right. So
You
I
still
would
stole
say
it from me.
The interesting thing, or I guess the nuanced thing about being a consultant is you have to be able to plug in quickly. So being able to take tools that maybe we love
Yeah.
professionally and try to, you know, push those or force those. Sometimes there's a cost. Sometimes there's just a knowledge component of it, right?
Yeah.
And so we typically do live and breathe in the world of just Microsoft Office Suite when it comes to just general. How do we manage anything from the collaboration side on a SharePoint to just the documents themselves? You guys know this. You know, it's Word, or sometimes people try to make Excel a word processing tool. We're not all that different there, right?
Yeah.
From a project management standpoint, we certainly have some tools internal that we use that are mostly off the shelf. I mean, we're a small business, so we are investing in tools.
Like?
One of them that's new to me, we use is called Asana. It's a
Asana?
project management tool.
Yeah.
You got to be ready to have a close relationship with your computer, because Asana screams and yells at you when you're not doing the right thing.
Yep.
And she turns you red when you want to be green. And
Nice.
Now, is that
things like that.
Is it collaborative though?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
collaborative, I would say, across a user base. So, you know, within our organization, we use that for our project management.
Yeah, right.
And we also use it for our business development. We use it for our lead generation, client interaction, and things of that nature. And then we integrate with HubSpot as well. So for companies that are out there looking for something to have maybe as a business development tool or a lead generation, when we
Right.
talk about business development folks or capture managers.
That's kind of a CRM tool.
That's a CRM tool, but,
Yeah.
but it has, once again, a paid component and an off-the-shelf component that's,
Right.
you know, for 90% of your user base.
Is that
works
how you're
well.
tracking kind of user or your clients really on there?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that bolts into Microsoft Office. So, you know, if
Yeah.
I say, hey, here's an email I want to track, any email that comes from that individual, it'll track to that lead. And,
Right.
and then I can use, you know, calendar or
Right.
task updates and stuff. Those are two of the ones recently. Mostly we're using other things off the shelf, like Calendly and things like that, you know, just like easy.
Yeah, you're about the
project
fifth person
management
that
tools.
talks about Calendly. I can't
Yeah.
say that
We
word.
need to get that for producer Jen,
for
so
us. Yeah, yeah.
she can help us.
Schedule.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
I don't know what their schedule is. Just go
We need a
there.
virtual
Yeah.
assistant to use that.
Well, there you go.
A
You need
Google
another
virtual
tool,
assistant.
right?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, by and large, in the consulting space, you do kind of need to use traditional tools,
Right.
Yeah.
For that very reason.
No,
So
but you
it's-
did this. That was exactly what we were looking for. Like, what's out there? And what about personally? Do you use any kind of things that you like to play with around? You know, like I use most of the, like, Google Calendar is my big thing, right? And I try to keep up with that, but that's sometimes not easy. And then you laugh about the Google AI and the assistant, but believe it or not, I've been using it more and more and more. Like, Google, set an appointment for this or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to go that
I do that all
route.
the time. But
Yeah,
then you
you
still
know-
have to make sure all your accounts are linked. So when you pull up your
Yes.
phone, you're like, I thought I had something tomorrow. Where'd that go? Which
Well,
calendar did that go on?
And I also use Trello. I use Trello in my personal life. You
Yeah.
familiar with Trello?
Yeah, Trello's cool.
I use that from my stuff that I'm working on.
Yeah,
So
we like those Post-it notes, right?
Yeah.
The feel of a Post-it
well,
note.
if you walked in my office last year, you would have seen Post-it notes all over the wall. And now I kind of moved away from it. So.
Well, and you had mentioned you used Hasana. for some of your project management stuff,
Asana,
right?
yeah.
Asana, yeah.
So we've got Dennis and I actually met with somebody from a company called PMware this morning,
Yeah.
which is kind of the same thing, but it's very collaborative. It's 100% project management. It kind of takes the place of Microsoft Project or whatever, and it's enterprise wise, and you can look over things. So those little things like that is very interesting to us. Just try to understand what's out there.
And I mean, one of the cool offerings that we do have is one of our key consultants is an IT consultant. So anytime we do need some sort of integration, we are actually able to build things on our company's on a background platform, place them on a company's platform. And so we do have reach back, to somebody internal who can certainly offer some of those things. But once again, it'd be nice to get cute, but we can't get too cute, when there's a rapid nature of a lot of these engagements.
This is great. And Nate and I play around with tools too all the time to see, are they useful for what we're doing in the business development side of the house? And also for the smalls, we'll come across tools that, hey, this would be good for the small contractors, because like you said, a lot of them are free, at least to get going.
Right.
Maybe not once you're need an enterprise license or whatever. But so I wanted to move a little bit. How did you get into? And you brought it up a few minutes ago. Well, back when I was 4, I started doing proposal management.
Right.
But how did you get into this whole space?
Back in the 1960s.
Well, AP&P's having a big dialogue on this right now about. Most people, they call it fall into this career field.
Exactly
And they're trying to get with the universities to develop kind of either a curriculum itself, or at least get this idea of, like project management.
Getting ahead of it. There's no reason why a proposal coordinator job can't be an entry-level job out of college, right?
Yes.
But I think the reason why they don't have that from a college level, honestly, is because you can't, it's culture first. And it's, you can't take an extrovert and force them to be a good BD person.
Well, not BD necessarily, but the whole business development cycle, proposal management. Anyways, how did you get into this?
Yeah, I mean, so I fell into it. No, but it certainly.
I went to college for it.
It's a similar talk track. I feel
He's got a degree.
I do have a degree. I just don't use it. But, it's one of those things where I feel like anybody who's been doing this more than 10 years fell into it. It's very likely. It didn't really become what I would call a career track until about that time.
Yeah.
And it's certainly a career track for me now. But I was, interestingly enough, I was a recruiter and
HR recruiter.
More of an executive
not an army recruiter.
No. Yeah, like an executive recruiter for a company that dipped its toe into the government space, and all of a sudden, overnight, they were a government contractor. And I went from doing that to all of a sudden, now I was a program manager instead of an account manager.
Right.
And now I was a capture manager instead of a sales guy.
Right,
and so
right.
as I developed that, I was doing all my own proposals.
Right.
And I had a senior VP who said, hey, you're pretty good at this.
So,
and I thought, well, are you saying I'm cruddy at the rest of my job, or are you saying I'm good at this part?
Yeah.
But it was one of those things. I ended up being better at that and made a transition over, and boom.
What I heard, the moral of that story was you have to go get a degree and then not use your degree, and those are the type of people that become BD people.
Those are the vagabonds that end up. Yeah, no, it really is funny. But I would say, having that college degree, I mean, it's certainly everybody that we look at has that.
What is your degree in?
Business management.
Okay.
Real general. Yeah.
So what do you mean you're not using it?
I'm using it.
That's like a daily thing. That's like
I'm using it, but I would say like the things I learned in a classroom.
But within but within like proposal if you take business development, I would say the business degree is useful. If you're getting something like in proposal management, project management degrees, editing, grammar, English, art. Graphics,
or there's even English majors, technical writing majors. There's things like that now. Even down the road, right? I used to recruit for our proposal coordinators at Colorado College, because their teacher knew what APMP was, and we would meet, and she'd have new grads, and we'd try to make them interns. And
well, that was my next question. Are you guys looking at that at Summit Strategy?
Can we put the
word out?
I can't speak for certain, but I would say not currently. Now that you say that, I'm pretty sure we will be. But we definitely are looking. In general, I think, like I said, we're small, but I believe we've got a graphic designer we're trying to chase down. We have a technical writer. We have a federal proposal management opening, a commercial proposal manager opening, and then somebody who deals a lot with marketing brand strategy. And some of them could be part-time or full-time. So, we're not necessarily looking for a specific type of resource. We're looking for the right skill set.
Right.
And oftentimes, we talked about it earlier. Sometimes they need 2 weeks of help. Sometimes we just need them to kind of come in and go. And then myself, I'm full time.
So my daughter was looking for some extra things to do a while back.
Do you have her resume? Are you going to slide
I
me
do.
her resume here in a second? Okay.
Well, one of the questions.
I would take
so
it.
I actually reached out to Kristen and some others, and I said, look, she doesn't have a background in this stuff, but she's a good writer, blah blah blah, right? And everybody came back and was, well, if you go online and say, hey, I want an entry level proposal person,
They don't exist.
nada, and everybody
Yeah.
wants these guys, and there is this problem. There's a gap between
Yeah.
if we really want to make it a career field, you got to bring these young folks in and let them go and let them experience and bring them on.
Yeah.
But we like the Department of Defense, we want the purple squirrel with 50
Well,
years of experience.
And I think that's the other problem is
Right?
that most companies can only afford one or two, right?
yeah, but
So
you could
bringing
afford a younger person. They got to train them. They don't want to train them.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, that is the and I do.
So don't call it
see
training.
There's a huge project management, cat
Learners.
herding, people management
Yeah.
component to what we do.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you don't learn that until you've been in a corporate setting or
Right.
a corporate environment, and that's what the 3 years is getting that person.
Right.
Is
So I'm trying to get after Kristen here. I'm
hey,
poking at her because we got
we'll
to bring in
poke
some of these
her.
younger
We're
people.
talking- yeah, no, I'm all for it. And,
Come on,
and-
Kristen.
And she actually, interestingly enough, when she was in the Greater Midwest chapter, they were helping with doing some of that outreach.
Right.
you know,
Well, she's leading it for APMP right
Right,
now,
so
and
I
I
mean-
know our chapter, the Denver chapter, is working real hard. Colorado chapter is working real hard on
Yeah.
coming with some programs. So, okay. So
I'm
we're,
all for it, and we'd be happy to participate.
we're kind of running out of time here. I
Okay.
did want to. So, how do we get a hold of you guys? How?
Yeah, so the easy way is summitstrategywins.com. So we have that online presence.
Okay.
If we're talking about names out there, you're welcome to contact me directly. And between Kristen or Haley or myself, we're the three people that head up a lot of really the lead generation and the client
Okay.
interaction. And it's as simple as just Kristen at summitstrategywins.com.
Yeah, except
or
Kristen's not
Haley.
Kristen.
Well,
It's KRYSTN.
Yeah, but all of the
Yeah.
information is it
On the
is
website.
available, and certainly something that I could provide to anybody, but would be a great conduit. And
Okay.
yeah, the way we kind of work is I do a lot of the almost like a customer service rep in addition to like a player coach, if you will, right, for our
Right.
key strategic accounts, but still doing the day-to-day proposal stuff. And then Kristen and Haley are doing the same, but they're also doing a lot of
And
the
Nate,
lead
this is going to get
generation.
broadcast next week. I'm thinking, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, yes. And the
Could.
reason I'm asking is because I would like to invite Gabe to come to the Smalls event. So we're having two up in the Denver area. We're
Okay.
having, one. We're having
Hey.
one up on the 15th of, but he's not going to be able to do tomorrow.
Why?
He lives in Estes Park.
That's not Thursday. That's not tomorrow. It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
We'll figure it
It's
out.
down in Pueblo.
That is a little bit of a way.
Yeah,
but
see?
we can figure it out.
So anyways, so on the 15th of March,
It's like
we're
an
going
extra
to be
half-hour drive. What do you do?
at the 15th of
Suck
March.
it up, Buttercup.
And it's warmer there than where I am. So.
Yeah, and it's your people.
Oh my gosh. On the 15th of March, we're going to have to actually be up in Westminster.
Okay.
North side of Denver
That's
with
perfect.
the Advanced Space and NDIA. We're having a co-hosting event, networking event up there. And then on the 17th of March, we're going to be here in Colorado Springs at the Catalyst campus.
Awesome.
Where we're co-hosting with the National Contract Management Association and the Catalyst campus. They're going to have their accelerator group going through, and so you can meet with all the companies that are in their accelerator as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no,
we'd
definitely.
invite you guys to attend that.
They
and
sound
you can meet
wonderful.
with Gabe there. You can,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can
I
talk
would
to
love.
him.
I would love.
Yeah.
Or you can meet with Gabe this Thursday down in Pueblo at Water Tower Place from 5 to 7
But
p.m.
it's not going to get broadcast in time.
Right. Or you can contact.
This
me
is not.
directly.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. This is
Yeah.
next week.
So why do you keep talking about that?
Hey, we're gonna record some podcasts there though.
Okay,
we're
we
gonna
will.
set up live.
We will. We
Thursday
should do
night.
live. All right, Thursday
Yeah.
night live. But Summit Strategy wins.
SummitStrategyWins.com. Yeah,
Okay.
and all I would say with people is consulting is an interesting thing. COVID has created a wonderful opportunity, I think, for companies to just consider it because
Right.
we've seen people scale back and now they're scaling up, but they're dipping their toe in the water and
Right.
they're waiting for the next wave of whatever pandemic, or
Right.
they've lost resources because of part of this great recession, right? And we can't find those good resources. So that's what we've been able to just really bolt on, help people out, and at a minimum, provide an audit. Talk to
Yep.
people, and oftentimes we can do that even at our cost to take a look at things and say, what can we do? How can
Yep.
we help you? And consulting, I never used consultants when I was in the corporate world, and here I am one. And I'm not advocating for them because I am. I'm more advocating because there is an
A need.
opportunity here. There is a need,
Yeah.
and specifically within the government contracting space, certainly the commercial, but even more so we've seen in the government contracting space that, we might be able to help. So, it's worth a call just to talk through things and let us know where maybe you have a pain point. We can walk through it with you to maybe do an audit for you and say, hey, okay, maybe we just shake hands and walk opposite directions, or maybe we're able to help companies out in the future
Nice.
as well.
Excellent. Yep.
Yeah.
No, hey, Gabe, thanks. This was very good. I appreciate your time, and this is great.
Yeah, wonderful. I appreciate both you
Yeah.
guys. Thank you so much.
It's been fun. We always enjoy learning something new. You, I think, probably are only the second person on the podcast that we've had
Okay.
that kind of talks about consulting,
business development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're seeing a little bit more and more of it pop up, which means, like you said, if people don't have the internal team to do it, you have to do it somehow, or you're not going to be in business long.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we appreciate it, and with that, we'll
We're
come
out.
back to you guys next week.
Next week.
JustNate signing off.
Thanks for listening.
You've reached the end of another episode of the Smallscast podcast. Connect with us at thesmalls.org. Don't forget to sign up to our newsletter to receive our free materials. See you at the next episode.
Hey, we do need to talk to you.